So you're going to be stocking up on the ice, right? Yeah, ice. No, not cubes. No. I'm not talking about at your house in the kitchen. I'm talking about the driveway. Talking about the driveway. The parking. Yes, everything around the office. It's going to get slippery, right? Okay. Oh, man, it's sometimes hard to communicate. Wow, we've been away. Welcome back. Season 4, Episode 5. Niagara 411 Live, fueled by Gale's Gas Bars. Powered by WeeStream, supported by Verge Insurance. And we are here being hosted as per usual. It's been a while at Fiddler's Poorhouse here at 149 St. Paul Street in St. Catharines. My name is Sterry, and I almost forgot my name. I've been away from here for so long. But there have been a lot of things going on while I was away and Kevin was away. We'll chat with Kevin of WeeStream, Niagara's premier streaming company, in just a couple of minutes. We're going to be bringing David Green on. Boy, he's been doing a lot in the comic world these days. We're going to get an update with what's going on with David, and we'll bring you up to date with what's been going on with a few things since we've last had a chance to chat. And by the way, I want to remind you that Niagara 411 Live with Sterry gives you an opportunity to chat with us anytime about anything that you want to do, and we'll fill you in on how you can do that. We don't have a really busy show today as far as guests that are lined up, so we have a big opportunity for you to come on and chat about whatever has been on your mind for the last couple of weeks that we haven't had a chance to get to. All right, so we'll be 30 seconds. Come on in. Here we are. Boy, I feel like I've got to learn my craft all over again. It's been so long. Kevin, Jack, ladies and gentlemen, on the right side of your screen, co-founder of WeeStream, executive producer of this program, and we've got things popping in and out on the video here. Kevin, I think we got it now. How you doing?
Good. I'm good, man. Can you
turn your mic on, buddy?
No, I'm good. Can you see my tan at all?
Your tan, no.
No, it didn't come through, did it?
You got a bit of a reddish tint, but I still don't hear your voice.
Oh, did you plug yourself in?
I did plug myself in. I hear my voice.
All right, I'll see if I can work on that.
I don't hear you.
Tell people what.
You got to talk loud because you got to come through my microphone.
No, my mic's on, buddy. Don't worry about that.
Well, it's not coming into my ear.
Yeah, I know. I'll work on that.
See what happens. See what happens when you're gone. For, how many weeks did we miss? 3?
3 weeks.
Wow.
And we're hoping, of course, right, whenever you go on vacation, you hope that the weather here is awful. Right? That's what you hope. That's what everybody does, right? When you go somewhere sunny, you want it to be snowmageddon at home. And, well, both you and I didn't plan our trips well.
No, but I disagree. Because when we were away, some of the coldest weather of the entire winter happened when we were with our group in the Dominican Republic. I have my earpiece in, I have my thing plugged in, and
Really? You know what?
Okay. All right, we'll try that. That, ladies and gentlemen, is absolute proof that this is a live program. Talk to me now, Kevin.
Yeah, okay, you got me?
Nope.
Oh, all right.
Nope, I got
Shows
me
what I
still.
know. You still got you, but no me?
I still got me. I can hear me.
All right, I can't figure this one out.
See, now, you were saying, you jinxed us before the show. You were saying, there's something I think I did.
That might be better.
No.
No, still
You
no.
were saying, I think there's something I didn't do. Why don't you play a video or something and see if I can hear? Well, there you go. Anyway, there's the premier story of the day. On your screen is the fact that we apparently have a major, air quotes, a winter storm on the way. That map that you're seeing right there is the map, I do believe, that highlights the areas that will be most vulnerable to power outages. Okay, see that? Power outage risk from the Weather Channel. The yellow is low, the orange is moderate, the high is that dark red, and we, here in Niagara, are in the dark red area. And when they say vulnerable to power outages, that is going to be because of what they believe to hit our area is going to be freezing rain. And then they say there's some snow in some areas, or ice rain, 10 to 20 millimeters is possible. But this is one that's interesting because they don't really know. Every forecaster that you listen to, every official forecast that you see, either written or audible or whatever, is saying they don't really know how this is going to roll through. They don't really know how these temperatures are going to go. They don't really know how the winds are going to blow the system through the area. So those maps that you see and the descriptions that you see are what they think might or could happen, but all bets are off on this one. It could be Ice-mageddon, it could be Snow-mageddon, it could be Nothing-ageddon. We just don't really know. But that's the big story. So I guess, just in case, you do a what if, you do a just in case, whatever you have to do, or if there are errands that you need to run, or if there are things that you might want to reschedule, whatever, do it early today. Because whatever is supposed to happen beginning like late this afternoon. They're talking about the commute for the Toronto people, the GTA people, the people that are coming in and out of the big smoke. That like the commute home at 5 o'clock-ish is supposed to be, regardless of the kind of weather, horrible. So I think that's kind of what we're aiming at. If you're going to do something today, do it earlier rather than later. Is about the only advice you can give that comes to some sort of cohesive agreement amongst all the weather folks. All right. So you see, there we're supposed to be in the lighter side of the heavy stuff. You see Niagara Falls. I don't know why we don't have St. Catharines on there. Who knows? But of course, St. Catharines just above Niagara Falls. So you see that band running from Windsor, southwest Ontario, across through Sarnia, London, which is always the horrible weather belt, and then through Hamilton and to Niagara. It starts to get a little dicey as far as how much we're going to get or what we're going to get, be it rain, freezing rain, ice pellets, snow, whatever. Some of the places that are going to be getting snow, they're talking about 20 or 30 centimeters. That's not us. They think we're going to get more ice than snow. Which, I don't know, you pick your poison. It's just going to make travel crappy no matter which way you go. All right? So, just in case, if it doesn't happen, see, what my theory is a little bit like reverse weather psychology. If you keep telling everybody that the world is going to end and the sky is falling and it's going to be absolutely horrible, nothing will happen. See, if you downplay it, something big is going to happen. If you oversell it, then nothing is going to happen. So I'm trying to oversell it here because I don't want to be out there slipping and sliding away, as Paul Simon used to say. Okay, Kevin, Jack, I don't know if anybody can hear you, but I can hear you because you're sitting 8 feet away from me.
Yeah, I'm good, Lee. Yeah, my mic's on. I'm coming through my headphones.
Are you?
Oh, yeah.
You're not coming through mine?
Yeah, I don't know what's up.
All right. Well, welcome to the Technical Word, ladies and gentlemen. And Niagara 411 Live with Lee Sterry, episode 5 of season 4 is underway. And you enjoyed yourself. I have to tell you this. Travel is really good if you don't have to travel.
Tell me about it.
The only thing wrong with traveling is the traveling. The destination is always pretty good. It's getting there and getting back that is almost always the challenge. We had an interesting flight back and forth from the Dominican Republic, but you can expect that. Now, Kevin, I gotta for a Mensa member, I gotta give you a little bit of a shot here. I got.
I deserve it.
I didn't. I didn't tell you this was coming, but I have to. And I wasn't saying that like Kevin is. He's a Mensa dude. He's like
card carrying member.
Card carrier member. I'm not making fun. It's a great thing. But shows up at the Hamilton airport with wife and children in tow, and everything's fine.
No, yeah, we're ready to go, Lee. We're ready to go.
Until they get to go on the airplane and their children don't have passports.
Yeah, so that was my vacation.
Boy, you thought things through really well there, didn't you, Mensa boy?
You know what? We all have Nexus passes. It never occurred to us for a second that we wouldn't be able to fly to Florida out of Hamilton, especially for our kids. You know, we have Nexus. We also have passports, both my wife and I. But the two kids, you know, it used to be, Lee, like the two kids, you could pretty much fly with a note from mom, right? You just vouch for them. We have birth certificates. We got Nexus. Trust me. So anyway, at 7 a.m., sitting there at the Hamilton airport is when we made the decision that, hey, kids, guess what? Family road trip, and we're driving to Florida.
So can you imagine? You're all pumped up. You're all packed. You got the kids sort of psyched, and you're thinking, how are the kids going to be on the plane? Hope they're going to be okay. Hope we don't embarrass ourselves, and you know all that. You're the Griswolds getting ready to go, right? And sorry, sir, your family can't come on this plane. What went through your head when they said that? Like what was the initial reaction?
Was, okay, we need a better answer than that. You know, like, who can we talk to? And, of course, the way airports are designed now is the people that are at the airport don't work for the airline, right? They work for the airport. So they're like, well, we can't tell you their policies. This is just what we do. And it was absolutely our fault, and you cannot travel to the United States. Although since then, we've talked to some people that have said, yeah, that happened to me, and they looked the other way, and they let me on the flight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with a bit of a tongue lashing, but you're not supposed to, and I've talked to all the appropriate people. It's 100% our fault, but it was a major inconvenience, as you can imagine, but that's a total first world problem.
Now you had your in-laws who dropped you off had to come back and pick you up.
Oh, yeah, we had to call my father-in-law and said, hey,
and
you got to
take
come
you
back
home,
and pick
then
us
you
up.
got in a car and started to drive to Florida.
Absolutely.
Attaboy.
We made the best of it, Lee.
Attaboy.
We had 5 great days in the sun and then a 3-day drive back. Oh, I got to tell you something about the drive back.
Okay.
Okay, we were driving. We ended up going over to Roanoke, Virginia.
Yeah.
Which is a little east of the most direct route home, which kind of brings you through
it's
Pittsburgh.
It's not the point A to point B route, yeah.
And we ended up staying over, and I'll see if I can pull the map up for you, Lee. We ended up staying over in Winchester.
Virginia.
Yeah, Winchester, Virginia.
Okay.
Which is right here. If you can see where my mouse is.
Yeah.
Right there. That's Winchester, Virginia.
Yeah.
And then we headed north. And we went, what the heck is going on this drive? Because as you see here, these black dashed lines, those are the states. So we're in Winchester, Virginia, going up this highway here.
Right.
Okay? Bang, we cross over to West Virginia.
Right.
All right, that was expected. Hey, we get to this little town of Berkeley Springs. That's nice.
Okay.
Then we hit this.
Oh.
That's Maryland.
Sticking out there.
We had to be in Maryland for 90 seconds before we hit another sign.
A little bit like a panhandle.
That says, welcome to Pennsylvania. We went through 4 states in about 10 minutes.
Isn't that amazing?
And we had to be in Maryland for 90 seconds.
And you can't get out of Ontario for 2 days.
And if you see here, I mean, here's this little strange part of Maryland where it's super skinny.
Wow.
Before, I don't know why Maryland decided to hold on to this and just wouldn't give it over to West Virginia.
Yeah, it makes you wonder why they figured out the borders that way. And the Texas Panhandle, the Florida Panhandle, same thing. It makes you wonder, like, how is that not another part of another state?
Little sliver of Baltimore right there. We went through the skinniest part. Like I said, Lee, it was 90 seconds. Hi, welcome to Maryland. 90 seconds later, hi, welcome to Pennsylvania.
Anyway, glad you guys had a nice time and traveled safely. And it's nice to be back here.
Now, Lee, while we're on the topic, I mean, you went to the Dominican Republic for 10 days. And I don't know about you, but whenever I travel, I want to make sure that I have all my essentials with me. And usually when I walk out the door, right, I pat my pockets. I got keys.
Okay, now you're turning this back on me, right? And my phone, yeah.
Lee left his phone in the hotel room in Toronto.
In Toronto.
Then flew to the DR for 10 days phoneless.
Phoneless. That's my lifeline to the world and to my business, and it's like, oh my God. It was weird. It was a little bit liberating, to tell you the truth, because I had to. Normally, what we'd do is we'd get up in the hotel room in the morning. I'd make the coffee in the little stupid drippy coffee maker that they have in the hotel rooms. That's okay, and sit there and catch up on stuff. News of the day, see if there was any business messages and things like that. So I couldn't do that this year. And the first couple of days, I felt a little bit like a drug addict in withdrawal. I didn't know what to do with my time. But after a while, I got used to it, and it was okay. And luckily, the phone was returned to me when I got back. But yeah, it was a strange experience. Yeah, so we both had our less than brilliant moments.
I'll call them the follies.
Yeah. Let's move on to some of the stuff. There was something just last night, as a matter of fact. The Niagara Regional Police Service put this up, and we filtered it through Niagara 411. And that's a robber dude right there, pharmacy robbery suspect. This happened last night. About 10:51 p.m., the police officers assigned responded to a robbery that had just occurred at a pharmacy located on Scott Street between Niagara Street and Vine. So it's in the north end of St. Catharines. It's not Grantham Plaza, but it's the other one, like a little bit further north, right, Kev? A little bit further north.
It's right there. I mean, we have to think it's that Shoppers Drug Mart right across the road from the Grantham Plaza.
Yeah.
I mean, there it is right there. I can get you that.
Yeah. So, a number of it makes you wonder, with the amount of surveillance that is out there now, and CCTV and social media and all of these things, how someone has the stones to actually rob any place. Upon arrival, the officers determined that a lone male suspect approached a pharmacist and brandished a handgun before demanding pharmaceutical drugs and money. The suspect then fled the scene on foot. The pharmacist did not sustain any physical injuries. I'm sure there was some mental impact, though. Responding officers, with the assistance of the NRPS K-9 unit, quickly converged the area. However, the suspect was not located. It's believed the suspect ran north toward the Regent Drive area.
Yeah, now the people in the comments are saying that there's a path, and you can kind of see it there, right next to where the see, there's that path.
Yeah, so he knew the area.
The Walker's Creek Trail.
If he was on foot, he obviously knew the area. He was familiar with how to get from A to B.
Yeah, the guy's saying that, if you follow the trail and it continues there, right? I mean, you can get all the way to Lake Ontario.
Some of the other comments brought something up that has been more than obvious over the last little while, is the fact that nobody takes any notice any longer of someone walking into a business wearing a mask, because wearing masks is de rigueur. It is vogue. It is something that people do now, whether it's required wearing or not. They actually can wear a mask and nobody pays much attention. So some of the comments that came out said, I think maybe we should get rid of the mask, make it mandatory now to not wear masks. And that would perhaps help us catch these people. But that probably is not going to happen. Anyway, if that is somebody that you think you recognize, how would you even... I mean, that photo would never pass in a court of law. Here's the proof that you did it. I'm sorry, that ain't me, and you can't make it me. So,
what do you think about this comment, Lee? Is this even fair?
Maybe it's not. Which one?
The top one here.
Oh, NRPS asking the public's help doing their jobs. No. Yes, it is. That's just stinking thinking. Justin, I'm sorry, but yes, police officers, especially a first-class constable, makes a decent living, and shouldn't they? When you think of the demands of their job and the situations that they're in every day, or the potential situations that they could be in every day, yeah, they get paid well, and so they should get paid well. And believe me, if it weren't for the fact that the public input and observations from the world at large did not help, sites like Niagara 411 or programs like this, Niagara 411 Live with Lee, wouldn't exist, because the police often use whatever resources are at their disposal to bring people to justice and try to keep us as safe as possible and keep us out of harm's way. And asking for our help is nothing short of just, hey, let's work together on trying to keep our communities safe. No, I don't think they're asking us to do their job. They're asking us to help perhaps speed their job up, and that's good for all of us, I think. So, no, that's not a fair comment at all, I'm afraid, in my humble opinion, as they say. Kevin, the new hospital had a artist's rendition come up just either today or yesterday in the media. The one that's going to be happening out at is it Bigger Road in Montrose?
Lions Creek.
Out near Lions Creek?
Yeah, Lions Creek in Montrose, I think, right out there. The sign's been up there forever. But of course,
it's actually at Bigger and Montrose. But anyway, the contract has been awarded, and they expect it to be operating in, I think, 2027 or 2028. Montrose and Bigger Roads and Niagara Falls, but it's basically the Lions Creek Road area. Construction to begin this summer, and frankly, I think it's kind of exciting because there is a huge portion of Niagara that is much more within that area and makes it accessible than to make it to the 4th Street Hospital in St. Catharines. I mean, it's got to be much, much better for Niagara Falls, Fort Erie, Welland perhaps, and other in the area. So, you know, there's always a lot of debate as to all the money that's spent and do we need this, and you know, there's always negative tilts to things, but any time that you can have a major medical facility that's going to be as flexible and as accessible as that place is, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. So, yeah, construction to begin this summer. Excellent.
And they said this is a rendering, and of course it's subject to change.
Well, yeah, it's an artist's rendering of what it's going to look like, and I saw people make comments. Oh yeah, so we're going to have all kinds of parking lots that makes you walk so far, and it's not going to. There is nothing that's ever going to be perfect about a massive medical facility. It is what it is. What is the option? I mean, okay, you're going to have to park and you're going to have to walk, and there are some people that don't walk so well, or there are people that don't breathe so well, but there are almost always, if you're in that situation, almost all people have walkers or wheelchairs or something in their vehicle. They've got assistance usually if they go in. And I'm not downplaying the fact that there are some people that have serious mobility issues. I'm not downplaying that at all. But what are your options? Really, what are your options? Unless, I suppose, you could do it like some of the tourist attractions do it. You could have one massive parking lot and you have shuttles that take people to the hospital. I suppose that's the only alternative, is to have some sort of shuttle service. Other than that, you have to have parking lots that are large enough to service a facility like that. And yeah, it's going to mean some finagling around, but there's always emergency parking. There's always short-term parking where you can get. Believe me, I had to spend more time in the St. Catharines version of the regional hospital more than I wanted over the last year, and there are always ways that you can facilitate somebody's entrances and exits to facility like that. So it is. Should there be paid parking at a hospital? I don't believe so. But again, it's a major part of the administration's cash flow issues that they deal with every year in their business plans. I believe that people that are going to see loved ones in a hospital for a period of time, I believe that they should be able to do there without paying $8 a day. I do that. I do. As far as the distance to travel from parking lot to hospital, though, there isn't a whole lot you can do about that. You can change how much it costs, and right now I think it's too expensive. Unless you use Kevin's.
My technique, yeah.
Yeah, Kevin has a technique, but we won't go into that right now. He's
some people would consider it theft, Lee. So,
but anyway.
Yeah, know what I wish they would
That's
do
your new
though,
hospital.
with the parking lots and with any buildings like this. It's happening right now at the Canada Games Park up at Brock University.
Right.
I wish they would just wait to see where people walk before they start building paths. And it happened with the new hospital in St. Catharines where they build paths, but that's not where people want to walk. And at Canada Games Park, there's the parking lot, which is great, but they haven't really made a clear path from the parking lot to the front door. So people are walking through a garden right now, which is all snow covered. And you're like, okay, you can see this is where the people are going. So blow out a couple parking spots, give us a path. That's where people want to go.
Yeah, some of these things that the architects or the planners design, it seemed like a good idea at the time. Until you really think about how people use space, and that's some of the best basic information that designers. If you see designers that really know what they're doing, that's what they do. They do this research, they do these discoveries, and they have a look and see how do people really use space, and then design around that, instead of designing what seems to be a good idea at the time. And it's a very good point, Kevin. I remember a TV commercial one time, and it really impacted me because I was a program director of a radio station at the time, and it was my job to build the sound. It was my job to build the sound of a radio station for a particular audience. So what you're supposed to do in that situation in my industry was to get to know the audience as best you can. Okay, so one of the things commercials that I saw that really impacted me is a woman is carrying, it was just so good. I think it was for Moen, the people that make the faucets and the thing, and she was carrying this faucet into this architect's office. And he was very hoity-toity. He was a big, important dude. And he says, "And what can I do for you today?" And she puts the faucet down in front of him on his desk. And he said, "What's that?" And she says, "I want you to build me a house around this." In other words, this is the feel. I get a good feeling from this faucet. I want everything in the house that you build around it to give me the same feeling. And I thought, wow, that's pretty cool because she knows what she wants and what she feels like and how she uses her environment. And I thought, man, that was such a super cool commercial. And I thought of everybody there. Kevin, you are brilliant. There it is right there. And he's showing her all the wonderful things they've done. And here she goes. Build me a house around that. Kevin, you are brilliant. Thank you, man. And he's looking at her like,
there you go.
Kohler.
It's Kohler.
Okay, there it is. I thought it was Moen, but it's Kohler. So it doesn't matter. But that's really...
Obviously, the commercial worked.
Hey?
I guess obviously the commercial worked. You remember the commercial, but you don't remember the brand.
Well, Kevin, it was a long time ago.
I know.
I'm old. I forget things. So anyway, But that's what Kevin was getting about when it's okay. Let's learn how people use things and then build around what real people actually do. And it's a great concept, Kevin. And hopefully as we get closer, this is just an artist rendition. As we get closer to the reality that is the new hospital, that those kinds of things will come into play.
And the good news is, Lee, is this is part of a story that said that the contract was awarded, I think, $3-point-something billion to Ellis Don. They've done big projects like this all over Ontario.
Yep.
The good news is that it's not the same developer that the city of Welland had for their 5-story condo on the west side of the recreational canal.
I'm giggling, but I shouldn't. This is really a tragedy for development in Welland. That is the structure of note in this story, and just out of the blue, what was it? 5 floors, Kev?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah.
I know it's supposed to be a 5-story condominium. I don't think they're up to the 5th level yet.
Yeah.
So
this
might have been
past Saturday,
3 or
a
4,
contained.
yeah.
I'm not sure what they mean by that, but I guess it was meaning solid.
Well, what I think they mean, Lee, is you can see here that there's sections, right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't the entire 3rd floor, but a section of, I guess,
of it.
maybe the 5th, 4th, and 3rd, and 2nd floors all
Just collapsed.
All collapsed.
Now, the it's just, wow. A contained portion of the unoccupied building in the South Tower fell and was reported by a neighbor to Welland Fire and Emergency Services, who attended the scene with the on-call city foreman to ensure the site was safely secured. Mayor of the city of Welland, Frank Campion, who you saw in the picture, said he's been on top of the situation with EverTrust Development President Ted Zhu since word was received of the incident. I understand there was some structural damage in the building last night, and I talked to Dr. Zhu early this morning, the owner of the project, to open the doors of communication, and he has been extraordinarily cooperative, and his organization is doing everything that's appropriate for this type of situation. That's kind of double speak. And being very responsible to make sure all of the rules are being followed. Are there rules? I guess there must be rules, inspection rules and stuff to do with that. Our staff is all there to help. We have our chief building official on site now. We'll continue working with the folks, have already, to make sure everything is under control. In addition to the necessary investigations, EverTrust has ensured 24-hour security to be placed on location to ensure the utmost in safety at this time. Okay, now, this was going to be a residential complex, correct? Not like a senior's residence or a retirement home, or just a residential complex with units costing a fair bit of money, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think it's a 5-story, 266-unit luxury condos.
Yeah. Now, if you're thinking about buying, because they try to sell these things out even before they're finished being built, as all developers do. That's nothing new. But what a promotional piece that is for your development. One wonders if we're not going to end up with a white elephant on our scenery here, because I wouldn't be really well disposed to purchase one of those units if a section of the building just collapsed. That's not a big selling point, do you think? Come on in, we have a collapsible apartment for you. But collapsible, not in the good way. So anyway, that was, it's unfortunate, because Welland, if you have been anywhere near that municipality over the last couple of years, or even more than a couple, there is an amazing amount of development happening in the city of Welland. Ever since the transportation became easier between the QEW and the city of Welland, and you've got that the big roundabout. There's greater connectivity than ever before between that community, Port Colborne, Welland, and on into the transportation corridors that connect us to each other, and Welland has taken advantage of that by having some great developments, and the building is rampant in that area. But this doesn't help, and I know I was kind of giggling about it because anytime a building collapses, it's like that's a big oops.
So, Lee, let's just say that yourself and Linda, you were downsizing. You bought yourself a luxury condo there. You're going to be overlooking the Welland Canal, or at least the Wreck Canal there in Welland. Beautiful place.
Life is good.
This happens. What are you doing? Are you pulling out?
Well, I'm certainly thinking about it.
I would be thinking about it too. Right now, there's really no information. I think the NRP gave an update today and kind of saying that the ministry is there. They're on site. All the people are doing the appropriate investigation, so they can't really say what's happened now, other than I think there have been a couple of, I don't want to say fines levied, but issues noticed, notices issued.
Yeah. But when permits are issued for a structure of this size, there are a lot of I's to dot and T's to cross, i.e. architectural drawings and justifications for how you're going to build it, and requirements and all this stuff. So I'm really interested actually in the investigation to see at what point along that timeline did something fail or get
Holy
missed.
Crap. Lee, you ever seen this? I'll throw it up here. Somebody posted this in the comments, which is, one of the strengths of Niagara 411, and it looks like it's from a security camera.
Okay.
And it shows the collapse.
Oh, really?
There, see it there?
Oh my God! That whole end part just. Do that again.
Boom.
Watch the left hand.
Here.
Holy cow!
Give me a second, Lee, and I will. I'll make this. I'll embiggen this, to use the.
Embiggen. That's good. We have a
great,
new word.
Great Simpsons phrase. Embiggen.
Oh my God! It's a thesaurus.
Here, you know what? It's. So
that was a dinosaur joke. Oh, here we go. Watch. Holy cow!
I've never seen this before.
It's like somebody took the bottom orange out of an oranges display. Like everything.
Oh my God. So, like, just absolute luck that it was Saturday night at 7 o'clock and there were no workers there. Like, absolute luck. Like, here you go, 7:15. Here, this is time stamped on this security camera.
Oh my, that's incredible.
That's crazy. I can't.
And
stop
you see the
looking at
lights.
this thing.
You see the lights flicker in the other part of the building, and yet they come back on. So there must be different connectivity for different sections of the building. Wow.
But I mean, it's definitely, you can see. I mean, we've got my wife's two of her aunts live in that building right next door.
Yeah. So, and that building, when we showed it, and in the beginning, it's like 3 stories, and you said it was supposed to be 5.
Yeah, 5. You could see the elevator shaft. I think at the north end goes up the full height of what the building is going to be.
Well, yeah, they would put that up first. Yeah. Gee whiz. It just imploded on itself from either side, and then.
And it looks like it's the top floor, whether that's the 3rd or 4th floor, wherever they're at. But the top one is the first to go, and they said they describe it as a pancake style collapse.
Wow! Did you have pancakes on Tuesday?
Did not.
Shrove Tuesday, Mardi Gras.
Bang! Look at that.
You could watch that over and over. I don't know.
Fantastic. How are you?
It's just.
Well, I'm interested now. Here, Lee. Let's. I'll go back to here. I'll try and see if I can pull up some of the comments.
Sorry, I know my mouth is open. I'm
kind of stymied by that as well.
I'm
I didn't know
amazed.
that video was out
See,
there.
now that looks like the building when it's still intact.
Right. So this section
So
here appears
that's
to be,
the section on the left-hand side, right there, like right there. Because you get like 1, 2, 3, 4 balconies, and then there's a pillar. Like move a little over to your right or the other way. There, and then there's a pillar.
I think those are the elevator shafts.
Are they?
Yeah. And a lot of times they build those first. And people in the comments here, Lee, I mean, I don't know anything. I'm going to say I don't know a lot. I don't know anything about building something like this. And they talk about the fact that, you know, here Michael's saying the issue is the concrete isn't cured by the time they remove the forms. But I mean, come
So
on,
it's
these
privilege.
guys are professionals at building buildings. I can't necessarily say that that's true.
No, but if there's nothing to support the walls, it'll shatter.
Here you go.
My husband said
same
that
thing.
same thing. He is concrete former, and that was his same reply. Okay.
There was somebody else here that said they were loading. Let's see. Here, the concrete slabs used here are poured and cured off-site, then transported here to be hoisted by crane into place. It's more likely an issue with the supporting structure in this case.
Yeah, well, that's what it looked like. It looked like it was just something not supportive enough. And
Sarah says it was her hubby hoisting slabs there on Thursday. So this is 2
there are
days before the
precast
collapse.
slabs to the side. He heard it was the steel support structure that collapsed on the second floor, which caused a domino effect. Okay, well, I guess if the second floor collapsed and the third would have nothing to support it.
Yeah, everything would come down with it.
Yeah.
And there's that video there by Sandy.
How did she happen to get, or he happen to get that? While we're talking about this, I want to remind you, of course, that we're fueled by Gales Gas Bars. We're supported by Verge Insurance Group Limited. And you can participate in this program at any time by clicking on the link under the post there. See? Click the Zoom link in this post right there if you're watching it. Just do that. And if you have anything to offer on anything we're talking about, you can do that and we'll chat. We'll have a chat. Thank God I'm not doing the drywall there anymore. I worked underneath that for a month. Wow. Wow, Joe. Must feel like you've dodged a bullet there.
He was having a happy day at work, you can see.
Yeah.
But I mean, these are the real stories, right? That guy's like, I was working there.
I know. Who's that? So just go down a little bit or back a little. No, the other way. It's a terrible design to begin with. It's basically like stacked dominoes. I don't know about the design, but Tristan, it's obviously something to think about. 2 fires today in Welland as well. Not a fire. The building had a partial collapse. Yeah, $1 million he falls down.
Yeah, so I'm just skipping through.
Yeah,
things
I know,
so you
I know,
get
I
some
know.
of these human stories or people that said that.
Yeah.
People said they heard it. I would imagine that the building next door probably shook.
Oh, you'd have to feel it somehow.
I mean, by the grace of God that nobody was there, that it was on a Saturday, because why collapse on a Saturday and not a Friday?
Realize how many workers could have been hurt or worse by that?
Nobody would have walked out of that, Lee.
Not if you were in there.
Yeah, I mean, if you were right under it.
Yeah.
And sayonara.
I guess our inspectors aren't doing a good job. That was one line at the last of that particular post, and it does make you wonder about the inspection process as the building progresses. How often is it inspected? Do they get? Obviously, they get their permits because of their plans, etc. But then how often is it inspected until the project is complete? That's a question. It's a rhetorical question because I don't have the answer. But one would think it should have been inspected perhaps a little bit more often, or as some of those emails or Facebook posts alluded to, perhaps the process where that concrete was coming from, how it was set, how long it was cured, and like all those processes. Who polices or inspects or monitors that? I don't know. But if that truly is, if the curing of the concrete and the structure is inadequate, who's responsible for that? I don't know. If you know, let us know. Click on the Zoom and come in and tell us, because we have somebody in here? Okay. Me?
No, we got David.
David. Well, let's go. David. Hopefully I can't hear Kevin. Oh, David Green's here. We're switching gears. Yeah, I can't hear him, Kev.
Well, he hasn't said anything yet.
Hello, Dave.
Hello. I'm in charge of the concrete. In the concrete, it's me.
All right. Now he's talking. I know. I can see his lips move.
Yeah, I thought this might be an issue.
I thought
I don't know what's going on
issue.
today, David. But here, you know what? Why don't I talk to David, since I can see David? And
Okay.
we'll just give you a break. How you doing today, David?
I'm good. Yourself?
I'm doing quite fine, thank you. For people that don't know, David Green, guy around town, Niagara's top comedian. Not only is he a guy on stage, but he's a guy behind the scenes that puts together a lot of the comedy showcases. Did a big run last year with the town of Grimsby, and now you're working with the city of Niagara Falls and the Niagara Falls Historical Museum. And what's going on? I mean, you've done 3 of these shows. All of them have sold out, and you got one left coming up on Saturday. Talk about the series, David.
Yeah, for sure. I'd love to. It's a collaboration with Mainland Niagara. We've teamed up together with the Garden City Comedy Festival to create a comedy series called The Best Medicine, which is our family-friendly fundraisers with a focus on promoting mental health and wellness. So we put together 4 awesome shows on each Saturday night in February inside the beautiful theatre gallery space at the Niagara Falls History Museum. And we're combining comedy with different on-location video shoots where we've gone around to local businesses that promote mental health awareness and showed those videos during the show too. So we've had a video down at Happy Feet Dance Studio, dancing with the kids there. We've been down to the Willow Arts community for some art therapy. We went to the Niagara Rock Academy for some music. And then this Saturday, we're showcasing the Yoga Dome out in Fort Erie with Ashley Michelle, which was a lot of fun.
So, David, talk about the challenge of working a mental health initiative into a stand-up routine.
So obviously, like mental health, there's a lot of people there's still the stigma around it. That we're trying to break that down. So the shows are not all completely mental health themed. Like the theme is basically the best medicine, how laughter is the best medicine. But each comic as well has been touching on our mental health, and they've been sharing personal stories during their sets as well. So it's been very rewarding, not just to see the crowds and how they've been reacting, but to see the conversations that we've been starting and the feedback we've been getting from people, how brave the comics have been to share their stories. So, it's shows like this. It's going to take time until the stigma's broken down around it, but just everything we can do to help helps. But also these are fundraisers too. So all the ticket sales are donated to awesome organizations that help mental health awareness, like the Willow Arts Academy, Third Space Cafe downtown Niagara Falls, and the Andrew McRae Memorial Fund, which goes to help music therapy for students.
So, series of 4 shows, and the first 3, I mean, I think this is the best dream that a comedian could have, right? Sold out. You got sold out rooms. One more opportunity. Who's coming on who's on the bill on Saturday? Where can people get tickets? How much is it?
Yeah, so this our final show this Saturday, sorry. We got headline Larry Smith. Larry Smith, who's an absolute legend. He's been headlining comedy shows for over 30 years, toured all around the country. We've got local comics Mitch McBodry and KD and Nick Duncan on the bill as well, who are going to be featuring for them. And there's only 5 tickets left. There's 5 tickets until we sold out all of our shows. You can find them at GardenCityComedyFestival.com, and they're just $10 plus the fee. So I think it comes to like $11.30, and all the ticket sales go to the Willow Arts community in St. Catharines, who put out peer-to-peer arts programs for people living with mental health and substance abuse downtown in St. Catharines.
I'm showing the video here of you visiting the Yoga Dome, and you said that's one of the things that you'll be highlighting at this week's program. Tell people a little bit about the Yoga Dome.
Yeah, so I had a chance to go there. I was there just a few days ago. It's out in Fort Erie. Ashley Michelle, a friend of mine, has been for the last couple of years now putting on yoga classes at this awesome dome out in the out just off the highway in Fort Erie, and it's just, honestly, it's the first time I'd participated in yoga before, so I didn't really know what to expect. But just, I can tell you how I felt afterwards compared to how I felt going in. It was just, I don't know, it was just calming and enjoyable and relaxing, and just, I felt better after leaving. And that's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to showcase businesses that are putting on these events and doing these activities. Not everybody not necessarily know about them or have the opportunity to go and check them out. So we want to, showcase them to Niagara.
And for this, you got some. I know you got some funding from the city of Niagara Falls. I talked about the series last summer in Grimsby, which was really well received. As a region, and I guess municipality by municipality, more and more people are investing in you and investing in comedy. Talk a little bit about that, because I think it's a trend in the right direction.
Yeah, I've been very lucky to have the opportunity to work with some organizations last couple of years. So last year in Grimsby, I was working with the Grimsby DIA, the Downtown Improvement Association, to put on family-friendly comedy events outside every Wednesday night during the summertime, and it was so much fun. Like, during the summertime, comedy usually slows down. People don't want to be indoors in dark spaces. But we were outside in the park underneath the sunshine. We had 100 people every single week. And for these shows, we've been lucky enough to receive some funding from the Niagara Falls Cultural Development Fund, who hand out funding to artists to create endeavors and projects such as what we've done to put on comedy shows. And also, this is in collaboration with the upcoming Niagara Falls Mental Health Fair, which is going to be taking place in June the 4th, I believe it is. It's rescheduled. Originally, we were going to be in the new big Exchange Hub building that they're building behind the museum there, but we had to push it back because there were delays in construction. So these shows that we're doing, they only fit like 70 people in the room we're in now. That's why we've been selling out so quickly. But hopefully we're going to try and do this again next year in the larger room in the back once that's finished too.
Talk about the Niagara comedy scene. I mean, you and I shared stages more than a decade ago, slinging some jokes around Niagara, and you've been able to polish it into something that's more professional and is really giving comedians not just a stage, but some events they're getting money in their pocket with. Sometimes that's the hardest thing. Talk about that a little, David.
Yeah, I love the fact how comedy has grown over the years too. I'm pretty proud that like the shows that we put on now with the Garden City Comedy Festival, where we are paying all our comics. A lot of shows around the region, like, they don't pay their comedians, they just but how we make sure we put on as professional as possible. The best locations, the best sound, the best lighting, the best comedians on the shows, and always giving opportunities to up and coming local Niagara comics too. Always make sure that we're doing our best to help promote the local talent. We've got the Comedy Night in Pelham coming up March 4th, which is always a ton of fun. I think we've got 16 tickets until that's sold out. So we've got 250 people coming out for that. And then the upcoming Garden City Comedy Festival, the main festival, the 4-day festival, which we do each spring. We're going to be launching the full lineups for that next week. That's going to be taking place May 24th to May 27th with our main big gala inside the First Ontario Performing Arts Centre, which is always my favorite time of the year.
Okay, so you can tell us who you got lined up for that, right? Because you always pull in an amazing headliner.
Yeah, I can't. Well, next week it will be a sequel. We'll make the full line. I have all the posters, the graphics, everything. I don't want to take away attention from the shows we're doing this week, and then once these shows are done, the fundraiser, we've raised the money, and then we'll move on to the next project.
What's next for you, David? I mean, a lot of times comedians, their projects go beyond the stage. So what do you see for yourself in the next year, 5 years?
Well, right now I'm working on a few projects. This Best Medicine series I'm working on, we've made 4 videos, and I've had so much fun doing it. I think the live shows may not continue till next year, but I think I might continue making these videos online for a YouTube channel. So I'm going to keep doing those, and then I'm thinking if I can try and pitch them to local schools around the area, around Ontario, to go in and chat about mental health and show these videos to the children. But also I'm working on a project. It's like a Star Trek, not so much a parody, but it's another short film that we're working on about. It's about Star Trek, but in the woods, basically. So it's instead of in space, it's in nature, but it's there. So I intentionally had it called the Eco Rangers, but I realized I can't use that name anymore because there's already an Eco Rangers. So the title's still up in the air, but the script is being put together.
Let's get your details out there, because I encourage anybody. You talked about the fact you're working with this municipality. You're putting on clean comedy shows, and a lot of times people are looking for that, especially at the corporate level. It can be used and flexed in so many different directions. So how do people get in touch with David Green? Because, I mean, you're the top of the comedy pyramid here in Niagara, and a lot of stuff flows through you.
Yeah, you just go to GardenCityComedyFestival.com. You check it on there. If you add us on Facebook and Instagram too, just facebook.com/Garden City Comedy Festival, Instagram.com/Garden City Comedy Festival. We're posting content there every single day, all our upcoming events. We actually got 2 shows this Saturday. There's the Clean Show at the museum, and then there's also in Niagara on the Lake at Humor and Hops. We have Fiona O'Brien coming down, which is more adult themed, but very, very funny as well. So all kinds of fun events coming up in the region.
Yeah, that's awesome. And for the show Saturday, I guess, at the Niagara Falls Museum. Tickets, you already said it, but let's get it out of there. How much are they, and where can you get them?
Yeah, they're $10 plus fees, and you can get them at GardenCityComedyFestival.com. But be quick, because there's only 5 left, so it's probably going to sell out by the end of the day.
Oh, God, probably sold out by the time we're done this interview. Only 5 tickets left. That's so awesome, David. I'm very happy for all the success that you are having, and, of course, the fact that you're hoisting up other comedians to kind of come on the rise with you, I think is very commendable. So say hi to Levi, say hi to a lot of the boys from back in the day, and go put on another sold-out killer show on Saturday. I know we'll be talking again.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate the time.
Thanks,
have a great
David.
day, boys.
All right, Lee, there you go.
Yeah. Okay. Unfortunately, I was unable to hear David, but it seems like it was a fine conversation. And isn't David looking all grown up and professional now?
Yeah,
He's just all,
I'm real happy for him.
He's got it going on. Me too.
He's daddy now. He's got 2 little girls.
He's worked so hard and has never lost his vision about what he wanted the Niagara comedy scene to be, and kudos to him for his accomplishments. Great job, and has put Niagara, I don't think it's putting too fine a point on it to say that it's helped put Niagara on the comedy map to some degree, especially across Canada.
I really love the Garden City Comedy Festival.
Yeah.
You know, it's real grassroots, and it's going to grow.
Yeah.
And in 10, 15, 20 years, I think it's going to be one of the preeminent comedy festivals, not just across Ontario, but across Canada, just because of the destination.
I agree.
People want to come to Niagara. We have a terrific venue at the Performing Arts Center.
Well, of course, it's a wonderful place geographically, from a tourist and visitor perspective as well. And when you've got a reason for that sector of our entertainment industry to show up, well, obviously they're going to come. So that's kudos, David. Well done, and thank you for your efforts on it, because I know it is sometimes a thankless job to put these things together, because you're pretty much almost always working on your own. So great job. Kevin, we've had a few warnings and incidents of fraud happening in Niagara over the last little while. Keep in mind that we haven't, and I apologize for our being on hiatus for about 3 weeks, but I was away, Kevin was away, and we just thought, well, we'll ramp it back up and have a reboot come February 22nd, and here we are. So between the times that we have been with you, there have been a couple of fraud things really start to ramp up around Niagara, and one of them was what was of note enough to have the spokesman for the Ontario Provincial Police to give us a video, send us a video on Niagara 411 to warn you of one of those scams, one of those fraud schemes, and here's the officer to tell us about it.
Hi everyone, it's Constable Ed Sanchuk with the Haldeman County OPP. Have you received a call from someone claiming to be a loved one in trouble with the police, that they're in court, that they need bail money? Unfortunately, we were receiving and being inundated with calls here in Haldeman between January and till this date, with seniors being defrauded of thousands of dollars due to the emergency scam. And the Ontario Women's Police Haldeman County attachments reminding the public to be vigilant and to always verify information as police continue to receive these reports of the emergency scam claiming thousands of dollars from unsuspecting victims. Fraudsters are targeting seniors by calling and pretending to be a family member in distress, either being the police or a justice official claiming that a loved one or grandchild is in trouble and needs money immediately. Victims are told that there's a gag order and can't speak to anyone. If you receive these type of calls, that's your clue to hang up the phone and to contact your loved ones directly to inquire if they are in trouble. You're going to receive calls demanding immediate payment for bail or fines to avoid your loved ones from going to jail. And remember, the courts won't ask for cash to bail out someone in custody and will require people to be present in court. You'll also receive calls claiming to be from a lawyer, police, or family member in emergency situations demanding funds. These scams change at each different phone call that you receive. What we're asking people to do is hang up, call your local police, and contact their family member directly. I'm also suggesting to get on the Canadian Anti-Fraud website. It has a bunch of information on there that can prevent you from becoming victims of a fraud, and it gives you an idea of what type of frauds are happening in and around our communities across the province of Ontario as well. So it's a great resource. As the day progresses, if I have any further updated information, I'll let you know, but please note that the Haldimand County OPP will be running a Fight Fraud presentation probably at the end of March, and I will have some more further details coming out on that later. But if you do receive a call claiming that someone in your family has been, arrested for any offense, whatever the case may be, and people are demanding payment, and they're telling you not to talk to anybody about this, please hang up that phone and call your loved one. And if you do have seniors or elderly members of your family, please have a good conversation around the dinner table tonight, or give them that extra phone call to let them know that this scam is circulating within the province of Ontario. So please make sure you take care, you stay safe, more importantly, get home safely to your families, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Just a really cruel kind of trick to play on
Hi, everyone. It's Constable.
elderly folks. And this one, although it looks authentic with the Service Canada logo, etc., is the other one that just came out. New variation of extortion, fraudsters sending emails with the image of the letter below to people. If you call the phone number in the letter, fraudsters will ask you for your social insurance number and threaten that if you don't send funds immediately, you'd be arrested. Well, one would think that that would be a pretty obvious scam, but there are folks in our society that believe whatever they are told by the government. Now, this is not the government that is doing this, but there are people that have been programmed since birth, basically, to believe authority figures. And this comes across as being sent by an authority figure. Nobody, just to let you know, nobody is going to contact you from the government and threaten you with any sort of action regarding your social insurance number. It just doesn't, it's just not going to happen. They're not going to do that with anything. If you have any interactions with the federal government at all, and pretty much provincial as well, if they have an important notice for you, they will send it to you by snail mail. They are still one of the or two of the few organizations that still deals with sending something to your address. Hard copies of something to your address. Nobody's going to send you an email asking for you to disclose private information over an email. It's just not going to happen. But unfortunately, the people that are the victims of these kinds of scams are probably not watching this program. So it may be your mother, your father, your aunts, your uncles, whatever. So make sure that if you have anybody in your family that might be vulnerable to this kind of scam, please let them know. Please contact them and talk to them about this, because it's really important. It's really important.
Now, Lee, we have a positive update to share today in the case of the missing girl.
Yes. Yeah, this is Valentina Leduc Chechen. Am I correct in that?
That's how I would pronounce it.
Yeah. Was found well and okay. 15-year-old. This was up on Niagara 411 a few times. She was missing for a while, but she has been found. She is okay, and she was a foster home resident. Is that correct, Kevin, as I understand it?
Yeah, I believe so. And here, Lee, if you want to see my source for some of this stuff, I was in contact with her, I guess her foster mom yesterday, Vicky, because she had posted out there, say, hey, I'm looking for help. We said, hey, let's come on the show and we can talk a little bit about Valentina, who
Right.
she is, where she may be, just to help spread the word and put a little more information onto it. And just got this update this morning from Terry Lynn, who obviously seems close to the issue, and she says she has been found safe.
Yeah, excellent.
So that's all we have on that. No update from the NRP.
Well, that's all. That's all we need to know, really. I mean, the details. Who knows what conditions were in play when Valentina disappeared for a while. I mean, there are all kinds of things that could come into play with regard to someone that is in foster care. So, and that's private. That's their deal, not ours. But as long as we can report that she was indeed found safe, that's our job here is done, which is excellent.
Where do you want to go, Lee? I'm thinking about the Canadian actor at the NBA All-Star game. Remember I kind of brought you that story here? Simu, I never know how to pronounce this guy's name, but he's a big star now.
Simu Liu.
Is that it, Simu Liu?
Simu Liu or Liu or Liu. Yeah. This is kind of funny.
So he was playing over the weekend, NBA All-Star game, and they had a celebrity game, I think, on the Saturday night. So he was playing. I guess he's a bit of a baller. Because, you only go in those games if you actually have
Play.
game. Yeah, if you play.
Yeah.
And then we'll let you take it from there.
So, yes. So he's the star, and he was slamming this celebrity lookalike segment. You know how sometimes they'll pick people out of a crowd during coverage or whatever, and there will be, here's an Al Pacino lookalike, here's a star lookalike, well, they did it with this guy. Now, there's the real dude right there, the Canadian actor, Simu Liu. So, now, during the NBA All-Star game, they put up a picture of someone who was, in their opinion, a lookalike for this, a celebrity lookalike of this guy.
It's on the Jumbotron.
Yeah. All right. And so there it is. I was just a bit obscured. So that's the real guy. And then we move over to the lookalike. Really? Now that is the epitome of racism, as far or what do they call it? Profiling. that I could put. Now that's the guy. That's the celebrity. And then that's the lookalike. There is not even close to being. I mean, there's no doppelganger going on there.
No, nobody is confusing these two people.
No.
I've been to games. I've been to the Sabres game or Leafs game or whatever, where they do this on the Jumbotron and they pick somebody out of the crowd.
Yeah.
And usually, they're
the only similarity is the fact that they are both of Asian descent of some sort. Oftentimes, it is you can tell Koreans from Chinese, from Japanese, because they have different characteristics, which is the same way that you can tell different Caucasian races from one another. But that is not even close to being so. Whoever did this in real time and put this up and decided to put this up on the Jumbotron at that event, I hope they lost their job.
I think he handled it well. Just to the subtle little tweet, I had a great time, but this wasn't cool.
No, and he was right about that. That is not cool because there is no similarity there other than Asian descent. That's plainly obvious. Refugees in Niagara Falls, Kevin. Mayor Diodati spoke out about this, as have numerous people, in the fact that we have gone from a pretty conservative number of hotel rooms being required in Niagara to accommodate refugees, Syrian refugees predominantly. But that room requirement has now or looks like it may hit the 2,000 number. The mayor of Niagara Falls is calling on the feds to come up with a plan to provide resources for thousands of migrants staying in the city's tourist district after entering Canada through the unofficial border crossing at Roxham Road in Quebec. Diodati told CTV News the number of migrants coming to Niagara Falls has been steadily increasing to around 3,000 since the summer, because Ottawa has been relocating the migrants and booking more motel and hotel rooms. And there's that moderate number I was talking about, 87 rooms. Okay, we could probably deal with that in Niagara Falls, of course. But now we're shooting for numbers like 2,000 and more rooms. So that puts a significant strain on our systems. No kidding. I mean, Niagara Falls has a population of like 100,000 people total. And Jim said the city is willing to do its part and is helping new families with everything from warm clothes to food and learning English, but the influx is causing concern. And when you talk about putting all of these people in the tourist area, my goodness. May 24th is when we begin our tourist season. It just continues to escalate from there. So we need to have a plan moving forward, I guess. We know how many rooms they need today. We don't know how many rooms they need tomorrow. We don't know where this is going to end. Quebec has also been pushing Ottawa to do something about the imbalance of migrants arriving in that province who then go on to await a refugee claim. And so, like, there's a huge bureaucratic boondoggle here or something happening. Like, there's a slam happening, and I think it's like left hand, right hand, not really communicating all that well. And my point earlier, Kevin, was the fact that why are we focusing, or it seems like, as per this information that we're reading, focusing on the tourist area, in my mind, which means the casino area, where you've got, all the big hotels, the Marriott, et cetera. And I guess that at this point in time, those hotels aren't filled up, but so many questions. How much are these hoteliers being compensated per room or per resident when these rooms are used for this purpose? Are they paying, is the government paying rack rate to the hotel for this? Are they paying some sort of reduced rate? What's the dealio? What's the plan? How much are people losing money? Are they making money? What's the deal? And with the number of, having grown up in Niagara, and I went to school in Niagara Falls when I went to high school, up and down Lundy's Lane, there are, and all around Niagara on the outskirts, there are all kinds of, I hesitate to say lower end, but not high end tourist hotels like down in the Clifton Hill area and the casino area. We've got all kinds of motels that line Lundy's Lane, for example. Are we using those to the utmost? Do the hoteliers have any choice on whether they participate? There's so many questions, Kevin, that
I didn't even know it was going on until about 2 or 3 weeks ago. A friend of mine works at one of the hotels in there, and he just happened to mention off the cuff, like, oh, the third floor, it's all the Syrians are there. I'm like, what? Oh, yeah, the whole floor is,
and how many people
refugees.
per room? Does it turn into like a commune type?
I don't know.
How do they live? How do they eat? How do they, like, what?
All that stuff, I don't know.
How does it all work? I don't know either. I know I'm asking rhetorical questions because nobody has the answer.
I mean, do they have access to the water slide, Lee? How does that work? Do they get the continental breakfast?
Send them all to Great Wolf.
Yeah.
Families that have a blast. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm glad we're helping out, right? It's kind of the foundation, one of the building blocks of Canada.
It's not. It's not the fact that we don't want to help. I don't think we. Now, maybe there are some that feel that way, that we shouldn't be doing this, but it's a humanitarian effort, and that's what, as you say, that's kind of the sort of hospitality that Canada is noted for, and that's fine. But it just seems that we're not getting enough information. And if the mayor of Niagara Falls is concerned, obviously he's concerned when you've got another, after the COVID years, we now have perhaps one full year of active and full-blown tourist activity, and now we've got these question marks all over the availability of our accommodations. I don't know.
Now, another mayor introduced us to somebody this week that I did not know. Mayor Matt Cisco here was shining a light on St. Catharines resident Chelsea Elliott, who's headed out to PEI for the Canada Winter Games.
And I had her down as somebody we might like to talk to in the next week or so if we can track her down, because she's obviously pretty busy training. But yeah, Chelsea Elliott, she's going to be competing in the 2023 Canada Winter Games in freestyle skiing, both aerials and moguls. And there are connections there, of course. There are links for you to have a look at her work. So February the 19th, with the aerials, that's passed. February the 24th, that's coming up in a couple of days. She's going to be doing the moguls. And then the next day on Saturday, the dual and team moguls she's going to be participating in at the Winter Games. So chances are we'll have to wait until after the games, after next Saturday, which would be doable, to hopefully speak with Chelsea and look at that. What a shot.
My back hurts just looking at that, Lee.
Oh, I'm already dead. If that's me, I've already broken every bone in my body. Well, good luck, Chelsea.
I don't know if she's like a Holiday Valley girl or if she's a Blue Mountain. I think you'd have to go one or the other, although aerials, I don't know if you need such a big hill to do moguls into I don't know exactly.
I don't know.
It always amazes me.
I think she's probably trained in bigger venues than both of those.
Yeah, people that are from here, I always find it amazing how they maintain their love of winter downhill sports, be it snowboarding, skiing, what have you.
Yeah, but I don't think they do that here. I think they do it elsewhere.
No, I know.
I think they learn here and go someplace else, like Banff or someplace. Whistler.
Yeah. Good for Chelsea.
Yeah, terrific. Good luck, Chelsea, and fingers crossed for the Elliott family and everybody here and her friends and family in Niagara that are glued to their video sets in whatever shape or form.
Lee, I'll throw you one here that, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, that's all right.
That's just happening right now. And
Okay.
Pretty significant ATV crash down in the Point Abano area. So Nick says that the orange helicopter has been dispatched. Just a heads up to people, if you see the orange going above, which is always somber, right? Whenever you look up, hear the helicopter.
Whenever you see that, somebody is in distress. Serious ATV collision with injuries in the area of Point Abano Road North and Fox Road in Fort Erie. Air ambulance dispatched along with other emergency services. Our hopes of survival and wellness go out to those people involved in that. That's just happening. Well, just an hour ago, Nick put this up. All right, thank you to Nick, by the way, from Niagara 411 for holding the fort while we were away as well. And hi to Nick's mom. Can't forget to do that. Want to thank once again Gale's Gas Bars for hanging in there tough with us here as per usual on Niagara 411 Live with Lee Sterry. Living wage employer here in Niagara is Gale's, as well as a Rainbow registered company, which means that any members of the LGBTQ2+ community and whatever letter you want to add have safe and secure harbor and protection, and that goes to their employees as well as any of their customers. And it's an important part of their company mantra. So thank you to Gales for supporting this program and all of Niagara, which is why it's such a great fit for this program. And I do want to mention also Verge Insurance Group, Mark Shirk and son Blake and the rest of the Verge Insurance Group team for being a supporter. They've been in Niagara a long time, providing any and all insurance needs for you. So if you have any of those needs, or you're looking for new quotes for, be it car, home, whatever, by all means, give them a call and see what they can do for you. Also, WeeStream, Kevin Jack, as you know, is our executive producer of the program. He and Brandon Scram founded WeeStream. I think they're going into their 6th or 7th year now. Kevin will correct me. Canada's premier streaming company, and if you have any events or you have a sporting team or league or whatever that you need streamed and in real time for your members and your members' families to view, by all means get in touch with WeeStream because they do it better and more cost effective than anybody else you're going to contact pretty much across the country. Kevin, I know you said you were in, was it Lincoln's council last night?
Yeah, West Lincoln, they were doing, it was their first budget review, so That was a long meeting, got home at about midnight last night. It was a bit of a marathon, a couple of in-camera sessions, but all in all, poured over the details, asked a lot of number crunching questions, and I think they're going to get that number down to something that's palatable for their taxpayers.
Yeah, some political stuff came out over the last couple of weeks as well. It looks like we're going to be a 7-point-something increase in our tax base and our taxes for the coming year. The region passed the tax bill for Niagara, so we're going to, and it's not really a surprise. You know what's happening to the prices of everything over the last little while. Walking through a grocery store is quite an eye-opener, especially if you've been away for a little bit and you come back and you stop into one of your local grocery stores and you say, wow, the prices are pretty amazing. Real estate has been sort of a toilet seat economy over the last little while. They say that the prices of Niagara homes has dropped anywhere up to 25%, depending on the kind of residence that you're living in. But they also say that sales are expected to go up in 2023. So real estate is still expensive, but with the increase in interest rates that has happened through the Bank of Canada over the last little while, it has slowed that steaming real estate industry a little bit, which for people that are looking to get into the market is pretty good, except that now the interest rates are higher. Sort of, it's like give it with one hand and take it away with the other. I'm not so sure that it's any more affordable because now your interest rates kick those payments up again. So Kevin, I don't know when it comes to. I mean, you're a landlord as well as a homeowner. Has it changed anything from your perspective? It hasn't from mine.
Not for me, but I think you are exactly right in saying, okay, well, the prices might be dropping, but interest rates are going up. So at the end of the day, you still got to be a millionaire to get in the housing market these days.
Yeah.
So you're not wrong.
And houses, if you're trying to sell, I think a lot of people have them overpriced because they expect the kind of prices they were getting a year and a half or 2 years ago, and that's not happening. So there may be a more availability on the market. But then when you flip that coin over, people might be waiting to sell until things turn around. So I don't know whether any of this really goes to the matter at hand and the fact that it's really difficult for young couples, young families to get into the market just to get started. It's still hard.
No, I don't know how they're going to do it. And you know what? I mean, we are all living longer, so the old inheritance isn't coming in time. A lot of people, that used to be their salvation as well. I got some inheritance, and that was my first down payment on our home.
And there are people as well that have owned their home for a while that are getting reverse mortgaging. They're taking some equity out of their home so that they can actually afford to live because of other things being so high. It's difficult to buy a car. Even used cars these days are going for unheard of prices because of the availability of new cars coming into the market. It's just there are just so many variables with regard to the cost of living right now that I don't see any real positive things on the horizon. That the politicians will try to tell you that and the economists will try to tell you that with the increased interest rates and lower prices but I still see a non sequitur here.
No, You're bang on, Lee. We just got back from Florida. To give you an idea, I mean, the inflation there took me off guard. To channel, you can't handle the tooth and Dino, 2 liters a pop. Can I drink 2 liters a pop? Down in Florida, 2 liters a pop. What does it cost at the grocery store? I'm talking just at the Wegmans. What's 2 liters a pop?
I don't know.
American cash.
I don't know.
$3.50
For 2 liters.
for 2 liters. That big 2-liter Coke bottle.
Yeah.
It used to be, 99 cents, then like $1.50 here in Canada. That's $3.50 American. You're talking $4.50 for a 2-liter bottle of pop at the grocery store.
And that's in the States, and those prices are probably lower than they are here in Canada anyway.
It's crazy. Lee, it looks like that storm is beginning. We're
Yeah,
starting
we've
to
had
see the
flurries.
leading edge of it now.
We've had a few flurries ever since early this morning, just sort of as a warning. Here's a flurry, there's a flurry, everywhere a flurry, and there's, you can see those sparkles on your screen is indicating that we're just on the edge of whatever it is we're going to get.
Now, Lee, I want to get back to that in just a second, because we'll take a look at that when we play music from James Blonde.
Yeah.
But some other music you wanted to touch on, and we kind of left this to the end of the show,
Julie
was
Black.
also at the NBA All-Star Game.
Julie Black changed one word of the Canadian national anthem, and it received an awful lot of, as you might expect, response and comment. And she changed our to our on. Yeah.
And to on.
Oh, yes, and native land to on native land. Yeah. So here we go.
Please rise now. And here to perform, "Oh Canada," welcome Toronto, Ontario native and Canada's queen of R&B, Julie Black.
Self-professed queen of R&B, I guess.
Oh, Canada, our home on a native land. True patriots love in all.
So what do you think? I get the sentiment. I don't like our national anthem has been fooled around with so many times over the last number of years, but there is still an officially sanctioned version of our national anthem. And Julie Black, I don't think you're important enough to change a word, even one word, as righteous as that might be, as well-intended as that might be. It's my humble opinion that you don't have the right at an official event that's being televised to millions of people to change our national anthem. I believe that if somebody did that to the Star-Spangled Banner, that person would have to go into hiding in the United States or elsewhere because of the backlash that would happen. What is happening in Canada, I suppose, is the best way to do it. It's now an intellectual or sociological debate. Okay, it's a debate. But Julie, misstep big time, in my opinion.
Now, Lee, you talk about changing the American national anthem and what would happen. The U.S. national anthem at the All-Star Game was done by Jewel, and she really twisted it around. I don't know that I've ever heard a version like this. I'll just play a little bit of it here and just.
Well, unfortunately,
tell me your thoughts,
with our technology today, I can't hear it, so I have no
okay,
comment.
Well, here, I'll just play it for myself here.
Yeah.
That our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled
That's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, isn't it?
banner yet
I know him as Lou Alcindor.
wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Yes, I mean, here north of the border, Julie Black's getting all the attention for what she did to the national anthem. But meanwhile, watching the game there Sunday night, I was blown away by Jewel and her take on the national anthem.
Like I said, I unfortunately didn't see her, and I saw her on the screen there, but I did not because of my audio things here today. I don't know how she changed it, so I'll have to watch. I'll have to watch it myself to see that. Chris Stapleton made a big deal, made a big splash at the Super Bowl while we were both away on his rendition of the Star Spangled Banner. He was, as far as I'm concerned, he should have been the halftime show.
But yeah, you know what, Lee? When we're done with the show here, where we're going to listen to some music from Niagara Rockers' James Blonde.
Yeah.
We'll play that for you. I'll play the Jewel National Anthem. I thought it was an incredible rendition.
Okay, cool. And we are going to hear from James Blonde in just a minute with their song called FOMO, which stands for
Fear of Missing Out.
Fear of Missing Out. Of course, I'm not up on my what do they call those?
Lingo.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you for coming on the program, David Green, and congratulations on all your success and all your efforts with comedy here in Niagara. Well done. And again, thank you to Gales Gas Bars for fueling this program, Virgin Insurance Group for supporting us, Kevin Jack of WeeStream. It's always a pleasure working with you. It's nice to be back in the groove here. And that has been episode 5 of season 4 of Niagara 411 Live with Lee Sterry, and we're going to scoot you right on outside to watch the flurries and listen to James Blonde. We'll see you next week. Cheers.
It's like a sinking feeling that there's no other place to go, like staring at the ceiling when doors are opened by your ghost. Somewhere down the road he'll find you there. Fear of missing out, you don't wanna doubt that when you go, you'll be better off. You got the fear of missing out, don't know what about. How could you know that you'll be better off on your own? You'll be better off on your own. Your best friend's invitation has waged a battle on your soul. You have to pick your poison. There might be stories you missed out. Somewhere down the road, wished you were there. Fear of missing out, you don't wanna doubt that when you go, you'll be better off. You got the fear of missing out, don't know what about. How could you know that you'll be better off on your own? You'll be better off on your own. This place is overheating, might be more comfortable